Today's video we're going to talk about better ball striking. Now there's a couple of things that you have to know if you want to learn how to really compress the golf ball. So this means not just sort of, hitting the ball where a bit sort of flicky and scoopy. Like if you're somebody who's got aspirations to hit the golf ball more shaftly and kind of get that more sound of compression, then there's a couple of things that we have to do. And the two things that we have to do, and the big one, is rotation. So a lot of golfers that I meet that struggle with ball striking is they end up sort of sliding, the head gets too stuck behind the golf ball, and this means the only way that the club can meet the ball is by sort of scooping at it. So a couple of things that you obviously want to do. The first thing is that you need to understand we need way more rotation. Now, a good little drill that you can sort of do to get this feeling is do some lead hand only swings. But what you want to be mindful of is that you don't want to feel like the club itself is swinging down towards your target. Okay, if you guys were my target, what should happen is as I turn my chest and as my club and lead arm leave my chest, can you see the way they swing very much to the left of you guys? So if I was to draw a sort of plane line here, we can see the way the club shaft moves through the plane line like so, okay, and it's not moving towards you. Now, that's a really important thing to understand, and that's that sort of feeling of rotating, and it's almost known as that sort of concept of swinging left, and that just basically means don't swing at the target, turn so you feel like the club is moving very much to the left of the target. Now, the problem is, especially if you're somebody who has hit the golf ball with more of a sort of scooping action like so, in a very square body, all of a sudden, if you start getting the feeling of sort of swinging this way and rotating left, if you still maintain this sort of feeling of flicking and scooping, all that's going to happen is the golf ball is going to go flying off to the left-hand side. So that's where this simple tee drill can come in. And just do this for a couple of minutes, 5 minutes maybe, before your next round of golf. And all you want to do is you want to pace a foot in front of the golf ball, and then that tee peg is just going to align itself towards the target line itself. Now, as I get set up, the club face should point obviously at my tee peg, so it's good in terms of that calibration of alignment. But what we also want to do is we want to get the feeling that the club head is moving very much to the left of the tee, okay, as again a byproduct of good rotation. But I want you to feel like the club face stays pointing as square to that tee peg for as long as possible, okay? And by sort of shifting that mentality, we'll break the habit of very square, closed body, flicking, scooping sort of action like so, into something where if you do a few little left-handed drills and you turn your chest and you get the feeling of the club moving to the left of that tee peg, whilst keeping the club face pointing to it, you're all of a sudden going to learn how to hit the golf ball more like so. See where I am here? So the way I'm getting that ball striking is by happening from two things. One, it's turn, okay, and see the club face. Now, some of you will quite rightly think, well, if I just turn like that and keep the club face open, I'll just sort of slice it. But this is when you need to understand the relationship with the right arm at the start of the downswing. So what should happen at the start of the downswing is my upper arm should move to the side of my body, while simultaneously the lower arm moves away from the upper arm. And what that does in isolation is, can you see that creates a shallowing move? So as long as you're mindful of the fact that you're allowed to, you should encourage your right arm to release as you start turning, then that's going to help you keep the club on plane. So you can see here, if I sort of hold onto the angles and turn, I'm going to come over the top. If I allow this to release as I turn, so the way it comes down on plane, and then as I continue to move my chest, I can swing to the left and get much better ball striking. So hopefully that helps. I'll catch up with you guys again really soon.